Creating illustrations for Magic is tricky. On one hand, an artist must respect the medium. Their images are going to be printed inside card frames no bigger than a few inches in area. This means they have to be clear enough that the work can read on a very small scale. On the other hand, those same images are going to be cherished in their full form. Their work may look great on a card, but if the high-res render or full oil painting doesn't deliver, then it suffers in the secondary market. Its potential to be turned into playmats or sold to art collectors is hindered. So artists often have to make a choice. Do I prioritize simplicity in favor of legibility at card size, or do I devote my energy to details that may never be seen by the majority of my audience? Well, as we often ask, why not both? Today, I'd like to slow down and dive deep into the details. I want to show you the portfolio of an accomplished artist who has found the balance between size and subtlety. And by touring the work of Vincent Proce, I hope to draw attention to the often overlooked. Vincent Proce is a concept artist, freelance illustrator, and animator with a bulky resume of which Magic plays a relatively small part. He started his work in Zendikar. Jeremy Jarvis brought him into the concept team to provide a scale and atmospheric depth to the visuals not normally seen on Magic cards. Proce delivered. He was also assigned a cycle of 5 full art lands, which became a coveted aspect of the block long after its rotation. Similarly, in Rise of the Eldrazi, Proce provided the panorama for the basic islands, sharing space with other illustration giants for the cycle, like Young Park and John Avon. After receiving no commissions for Scar's block, Proce returned to Magic in Innistrad and provided artwork for 13 cards across 3 sets. These 13 cards, a number all too important for the plane, showcase Proce's flexibility as an illustrator. Each piece varies from one another in composition and color palette, and I like them as examples to help us identify hallmarks of Proce's art style. First, let's talk contrast. The art world employs a fancy Italian word chiaroscuro, chiaro meaning clear and scuro meaning obscure or dark, to address how an artist handles light in their painting. Fortress Crab is a good example of chiaroscuro. Almost the entire painting is made up of dark darks and light lights. The effect highlights the crab's legs, and thanks to the white backdrop behind him, it further emphasizes his reclusion. Chiaroscuro also shows up in Drogskull Reaver, this time in reverse. The background is completely black, and the Geist's hands are pale white with light blue accents. The contrast in light gives depth to the piece, resulting in a pair of 3-dimensional hands reaching out of the card frame and lunging for the viewer's neck. Look at Kessig Recluse. A spider is hanging in the shadows below a bridge, while an innocent passerby struts toward his doom. The white light makes this all legible at card size, but like I said before, I want to look at the details. Let's turn now to Grim Backwoods for another key aspect of Vincent Proce's approach to artwork. From a distance, it looks simply like a gnarled wood. At second glance, and getting closer, you realize the bark is more than just bark. It's the rotting decay of wandering foresters. And looking even closer, you see that the trees are slowly swallowing those bodies whole. The corpses at the base are still clothed, as marked by their boots and trousers, but the further up the trunk you get, the more their fleshy faces decay into skulls. Rib cages and femur bones pollute the forest floor. This piece is a strong illustration of another aspect of Vincent's work. He likes to compose larger figures out of smaller, thematic ones, which is revelatory of his experience as a concept artist. Maw of the Mire showcases the same approach. At card size, these are just large hands that are overtaking a lonely chapel. When you pull up the higher resolution image, however, you see they're actually a collective of skeletons and tendons. You also notice that the wooden door is embossed and detailed, showcasing again that Proce leaves no stone left unturned. Proce will employ this same approach on cards like Scythe Spectre, Handwire the Writhing Township, and Diagraph Colossus. That piece, by the way, made it into Spectrum 23, but it wouldn't be Proce's first admission to the acclaimed art book. A couple years prior, 2 of his 3 pieces from Theros block were accepted into Spectrum 21. Spite of Mogus shows a colossal god wrecking a library. Again, the details are really worth savoring in the larger image. Look at all the etchings into the tablets. Look at all the scrolls. Nessian Game Warden was accepted too, and is one of my favorite artworks in the game. At card size, it's another big beefy beast in the forest. When we slow down and give it its due time, we find a myriad of animal heads atop a giant chimera. Its legs are made of 100 smaller legs, and its tails match perfectly with the creatures at the front. The other forest animals are awestruck by its presence, as seen by this cute bear on its hind legs and the tiny rabbit under the admiring fawns. This is a monumental piece. Proce's attention to detail made him the perfect fit for Kaladesh. With its emphasis on filigree and intricate architecture, the steampunk plane is synonymous with Vincent's style. Metal Spinner's puzzle knot works chiaroscuro and bends physics to form 3 Ouroboruses entwining together. Given Proce's excellence with metallic textures, it's no surprise he was commissioned 2 masterpieces in the form of Noxious Gearhulk and Paradox Engine. And one of the plane's 2 demons, Herald of Anguish, plops a hellish incarnation in the middle of the busy town square. To nobody's surprise, that piece was also accepted into this year's edition of Spectrum. After spending a lot of time with Proce's work, I began to ask myself, why spend so much creative energy and effort on the tiny details? Why bother not only hiding the Hell Vault in the background behind Tree of Redemption, but also painting an entire building fit with lion head gutters and window frames there too? These things don't show up at card size. Why paint another painting in Blood Crypt and meticulously carve out every brick into the walls? What does including a skull and the angry face of a beast behind the specter ultimately do for the composition? In an industry with time crunches and deadlines that drive some artists to fatigue, why spend the extra 2 hours illustrating the terrified hermit hiding from the soul of Zendikar if nobody will see it? Ultimately, I believe Vincent Proce does all this because he is a man of his craft. I can't speak for him, but in a way his work speaks for itself. I didn't touch on every piece in his portfolio today, nor did I address his massive experience as a concept artist, but I encourage you to take an extra moment to do so when you have the time. Sit with the art. Look around. You'll notice all the things you never would when sifting through your deck at a glance, like the way this bowl island that Proce painted back in Zendikar was reimagined in Blighted Cataract. Or that there's an Eldrazi being pummeled by an animated mesa in Planar Outburst. Or even that a tiny red dot mysteriously decorates the lens in Explorer's Scope. Not to mention the gorgeous landscape behind it. Because what is so impressive about Proce's art is its ability to stand alone, out of the context of the game, and simultaneously read well as a tiny image in a card frame within it. Thanks for watching. Special thank you to Vincent Proce for allowing me to do this video. I really enjoyed researching and diving into the details of his work, so thank you, Mr. Proce. If you enjoyed this video, you might enjoy some of the other artist studies I've done or the card studies I've done on my channel. I put out a video every 2 weeks, so go ahead and check in, subscribe, give it a like, you know what to do. Alright, a couple big announcements. The first is I just launched my first website, so that's really sweet. Go to rhysticstudies.com. It's going to be the easiest and simplest way to find anything that I put out onto the internet. I've written an article there, and that'll be a hub for future articles, as well as a place to organize all of my videos very cleanly. Since YouTube is against me and it's kind of hard to find me on YouTube, I think I'm just going to stick to the website. The second announcement is last month we were doing a giveaway sponsored by my patrons of this really cool masterpiece pithing needle. So if you would like to know who won that giveaway, go to my Patreon page. Under the first post where this video is linked will be the name of the winner of that giveaway. All you had to do was be a patron and you were automatically entered, so congrats to the winner. Which leads me to the final plug, of course. If you enjoyed my work, please support me on Patreon. We just got another big influx of supporters and patrons, and throughout the summer this is going to be my only source of income, so I'm really hoping to get some extra support and dig in and make some super high quality videos, since this will be my full-time job this summer between semesters. Let's see if we can get 175 clean patrons by the end of June. That's a new goal. And being a patron, of course, will get you a bunch of perks, signed cards, access to the Discord channel, a peek behind the editing curtain to learn how I make my videos, and of course, entry into future giveaways. Plus my eternal gratitude, you know that. Thanks for watching again. Cheers!